Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on PIB monthly compilation and I'll be discussing PIB for the month of December 2021. Whatever news that was important for this particular month, we'll understand from the prelims and mains perspective. So let's get started. And this is the preface that what I'll be discussing in this video. We'll just segregate the news according to the General Studies paper of mains. So the first section that I would be covering would be General Studies paper 2, followed by General Studies paper 3 related news that were reported for the entire month. Then some short liner, which would be again relevant for the prelims examination as well. So we'll understand the complete news for the month of December. If you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. So we'll start a session with the first, that is General Studies paper 2 related news that were important for the month of December. So the first is Child Protection Service Scheme. This is something, a dedicated scheme for children, which government is always looking forward to endeavor a process where the child protection should be promoted to a larger section of the society. So detail about this scheme. This particular scheme is being implemented by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. This is basically a center-sponsored scheme of the Government of India. The name of the program is Child Protection Scheme, or you can call it in a short form CPS scheme. So you have to remember that this is a center-sponsored scheme, right? Because in many times UPSC tend to ask you which kind of scheme this is, right? The one is center sector scheme and the other is center sponsored scheme. So under the scheme, it aimed to provide basically the main rationale and the aim of the scheme is to support and provide to state and union territories and government for delivering services for child and in need of their difficulty circumstances. Many states have their problem with regards to the policy that they're formulating with the child development. So this program would provide the state as well as union territories to formulate a policy which is dedicated for the development and protection of child. Now, what are the key highlights? The first and foremost is CCI. CCI stand for Child Care Institutions. So, इसकी establishment की जाएगी under the CPS, that is Child Protection Scheme, and this would support the age-appropriate educations, access to vocational training, which is although the government is looking forward to enlarge the vocational training. हेल्थ केयर के बारे में इस पे ध्यान दी जाएगी, काउंसलिंग एटसेट्रा. दीज आर सम ऑफ द थिंग दैट वुड बी कवर बोथ फॉर द रूरल एज वेल एज फॉर द अर्बन एरिया. So this is the major highlight of this scheme. And according to the census that was conducted in 2011, there are almost 472 million of children which is aged below 18 years. So this point is again important. And it comprises almost 39% of the total population of our country. तो हमारी जो total population है उसमें अगर बिलो 18 की बात करें तो उसकी जो परसेंटेज है दैट इज 39%. अगेन फैक्चुअली इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट फॉर द प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन. Now, one thing you also know, this might be important for the examination also. National Commission for Protection of Child Right, एक autonomous body है that work under the aegis of Ministry of Women and Child Development, right? जिसकी पर्पस है, जिसकी मैंडेट है कि जितने भी लॉज हैं, पॉलिसी प्रोग्राम है, जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मैकेनिज्म है, दैट शुड कम इन कॉन्सोनेंस विद द चाइल्ड राइट पर्सपेक्टिव विच इज ऑलरेडी एनश्राइंड इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया. जो हमारे भारत के संविधान में जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया में दिस इज ऑलरेडी द प्रोविजन इज देयर टू इंश्योर दैट द चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन इज देयर. एंड इवन अगर आप इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशन की बात करें, वी हैव यूएन कन्वेंशन ऑन राइट ऑफ चाइल्ड. So this is in consonance with these two, so that the child protection is promoted in the country, in state as well as in the union territories. Now the other topic or other news is Krishi UDAN 2.0. With this particular scheme, the government has actually launched the scheme in August 2020. और international और जो national routes हैं उनमें farmer को assistance provide करने के लिए this program has come up. And the main aim is to transport the agriculture products so that it can improve the value realization, right? What is happening that in the interior and the parts which are not that reachable to the farmers, उनके जो items हैं, जो perishables items हैं, उनकी शेल लाइफ जो ज़्यादा नहीं होती, वो मार्केट में शेल नहीं कर पाते, जिसकी वजह से उनकी डैमेज बहुत ज़्यादा होती है क्रॉप्स की. So the scope of the Krishi UDAN scheme was expanded by including districts, airport across the country, where it aimed to extend the benefit to the farmer, right? Although the government has envisaged that they are looking forward to double the farm income, but this is a step that would invariably will be helping farmers to get the best shot of the income that they can get for the farm produce. So Krishi Udan is an ongoing scheme. और एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस की बात करें दैट हैज टू बी ट्रांसपोर्टेड फ्रॉम वेरियस डेस्टिनेशन ऑफ अ कंट्री सपोज समथिंग विच इज अ गुड प्रोड्यूस्ड इफ यू से example like orange from Nagpur, other grapes item from South India and even from the eastern part of the country, and even some fruits that is being specialized to any location can be transferred to any other part of the country. So there is a main rationale कि जो reachability है वो बढ़ाई जाए. So about the scheme, Krishi Udan 2.0, this primarily focus on transporting the perishable foods item, basically जो hilly areas हैं, north eastern states के जो region, जो tribal area के जो farm produce हैं, वो एक urban area के में भी reachable हो, and this can be only possible once this perishable products is basically transferred to the location at the earliest. तो यहाँ पे delay ना हो क्योंकि perishable items की जो shelf life होती है वो काफ़ी कम होती है. So the scheme aims to ensure a seamless, cost-effective, time-bound air transportation and associated logistics जहाँ पे agriculture produce जो north east state के हैं, hilly states के हैं, tribal areas के हैं, it can reach to many other part of the country. Their reachability should be pan-India. And the objective is to increase the share of India in the modal mix where agri-produce, चाहे वो horticultures हो, fisheries हो, livestock हो, processed foods हो, these are sort of the sectors that would be benefited under this scheme. Now, some of the salient features that would be again important for the prelims as such. So first and foremost, that it provide air connectivity, national और international level पे भी promote करने की कोशिश की जा रही है. एक destination बनाई जाएगी where the logistic part would be improved so that the item can reach at the earliest. Improving infrastructure, यहाँ पे एक performance based प्रोसेसिंग एयर कार्गो होगी जो हर एक स्टेक होल्डर्स पे काम करेंगे इंक्लूडिंग द एयर प्रोड्यूस हॉर्टिकल्चर्स की बात हो या फिर फिशरीज की बात हो लाइफ स्टॉक प्रोड्यूस की बात हो दीज आर द थिंग दैट वुड बी बेनिफिटेड एंड इट वुड बी अंडर अ गवर्नमेंट रेगुलेशंस और जिसको खास करके पार्टिसिपेटरी गवर्नमेंटल जो एजेंसीज होती हैं पीजीए दैट वुड बी फैसिलिटेटिंग दिस पार्ट. नाउ इम्पार्टिंग स्पेशल फोकस ऑन एयर फ्राइट जो कि आप एयर लॉजिस्टिक्स कह सकते हैं इसको फॉर ऑर्गेनिक एंड नेचुरल प्रोड्यूस इन द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न रीजन दैट इज एनईआर ट्राइबल एंड हिली डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स. We see that organic farming, especially in Sikkim and other parts of the northeastern country, has been promoted to a larger extent. But इसके अगर benefits की बात करें, this is not reaching pan India. So to make it reachable to pan India, this type of initiative will definitely help, and this is going to help to increase the farm income also. Now to achieve better timely mapping of agriculture produce, सेंटर ने इस तरह के डोमेस्टिक क्लस्टर्स बनाई हैं जहाँ पे इंटरनेशनल मार्केट के साथ भी इनको शिंक किया जाएगा. यू हैव सीन दैट मेनी फूड आइटम्स स्पेशली इन वेजिटेबल्स एंड फ्रूट्स इज बीइंग exported to other important countries. So this is something which would be helping them also, promoting adaptations of plant and animal quarantine and other regulatory requirement at export supply chain end-to-end market में जिसकी ज़रूरतें हैं वो भी पूरी होगी. Enabling paperless, this would be something, this is a newer version in the 21st century. So what government tried, इनको papers रखा जाए, contactless interference हो, because if there is more contact between the farmer and the vendors or any other people, तो वहाँ पे corruption के जो chances हैं वो बढ़ सकते हैं. तो एक advantage ये है contactless और paperless रखने की. There's no more things that would involve in terms of paper, right? तो stakeholders जो हैं वो digitalizations को promote करेंगे and the existing e-platform is a creation that would be essentially required for this particular scheme. Now, scheme for protection and preservation of endangered language in India. This is something, a good step taken by the government of India. So if you're writing in general studies paper 4 in ethics, अगर case study पे आपसे कुछ इस तरह के सवाल आते हैं, you can use this example. So the central government, they have come up with this scheme known as Scheme for Protections of Preservation of Endangered Languages in India, जिसको स्पेल के नाम से भी शॉर्ट में जाना जाता है. The policy aims to promote Indian languages, including the endangered language. किसी भी रीजन से हो सकती है, जो भी लैंग्वेज endangered हो रही है उनको प्रोटेक्शन की. So something more about this scheme, basically जो Central Institute of Indian Languages CIIL, which is located at Mysore. So they works to protect and preserve the documentation of all mother tongue and the languages spoken by less than 10,000 people, which would be called as endangered language. ऐसे जो भी लैंग्वेज हैं जिनको 10,000 से कम लोग बोलते हैं उस लैंग्वेज की कैटेगरी endangered language की कैटेगरी होगी. So factually, this might be important for the exam. And the first phase of the scheme include 117 endangered language mother tongues that has been chosen all over India to study the document on the priority basis. Now, some key points of this particular scheme, which aims to basically protect the languages. The University Grant Commission has initiated two programs, right? Those schemes इन्होंने start किए to protect the languages. The first would be funding support to the state university for study of research in indigenous and endangered languages in India. Although in India we have more regional and languages universities, जो कुछ उसमें सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटीज भी हैं, they are working to promote the languages to the larger extent. Even some scholars from abroad come to pursue these courses. Now, establishment of Center for Endangered Languages in the Central University, that is the other part that government is taking in a precautionary note so that these languages should be promoted to the masses, and even जो endangered language हैं उनको भी protections मिलेंगी. Component Champion Incentive Scheme, we'll see how this is important. तो गवर्नमेंट ने रिसेंटली जो PLI scheme है, which is Production Linked Incentive Scheme, they have come up with this automobile and auto component industry, which would enhance जो manufacturing capabilities है advanced automobile products के उसके लिए. And PLI scheme is only not restricted to automobiles. This scheme is important for 10 sectors, जहाँ पे telecom, manufacturing, all sort of sectors आते हैं. अगर इस स्कीम की बात करें, there are two important components that government has included in terms of advanced automobile product. The first is Champion OEM Incentive Scheme and the other is Component Champion Incentive Scheme. We'll see both one by one. So the first is Champion OEM Incentive Scheme. ये जो OEM Incentive Scheme है, basically जो Cell Value Linked Scheme है उसको enable की जाएगी, and this would be applicable to the battery electric vehicles and hydrogen fuel cell vehicle for all segments, right? And even the advanced automotive technology that would be prescribed by MHI would be depending upon the technical development. So this is more related to battery electric vehicles and even to the hydrogen fuel cells. Now the other is Component Champion Incentive Scheme. This particular scheme is dedicated to the auto components manufacturing sector related to advanced automobile technology, right? ये identify करेगी वैसे auto component champions को which can achieve a global scale, और operations जो हैं वो automotive champions के लिए होंगी, so that manufacturing can also increase and even we can export some part of that. And it is a sale value linked plan which can advance technology component, चाहे वो component semi knockdown हो, either it is vehicle aggregated to two-wheelers, three-wheelers, passenger vehicles, commercial vehicle or truck. So these are the scale value linked with this particular project. Now, Convoke 2021-2022. So Niti Aayog has partnership with the Bharti Foundation and they have launched Convoke 2021. This is something which would be directly important for your prelims examination, right? To make sure you know the good points for this. So National Research Synopsis जो है, which has aimed to address the challenges for imparting education and strengthening the quality. The special focus of this is like जितने भी teachers हैं, educationists हैं, head of schools across the India, they should they should be imparting a quality education so that they could work for the development of school and development of children. So this platform would where school teachers, head, principal of the government school and teachers from the Bharti Foundation network would be encouraged to use research based solution, जो नई technology है, जो scientific approach है, उनको use करना, and even it would help them to improve the learning outcome from themselves as well as for the children or the students. If you so see the background of this, why the government has initiated this type of conclave. So the national education policy that also recognizes the identifier of the teachers, जहाँ पे faculty is considered to be the heart of learning process. अब पूरी learning process या school की अगर बात करें तो teacher is the center theme which is imparting knowledge to many students and it is influencing the learning process in a positive manner. So this is what the aim is all about. It recommended that teacher would be recognized as a noble approach with teaching and to improve the outcome of their classroom. So नई टेक्नोलॉजी एक साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट यूज करनी है ताकि बच्चों को पढ़ने में, उनको समझने में एंड इवन जो खास करके टेक्नोलॉजी टेम्परामेंट है वो बिल्ड की जा सके. The new education policy recommend development of the platform so that teachers may use their idea जो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस हैं वाइडर डिसेमिनेशंस में उसको रेप्लिकेट की जाए. अगर किसी एक स्टेट में कुछ अच्छी प्रैक्टिसेस हुई हैं, इट शुड बी रेप्लिकेटेड टू द अदर स्टेट्स एज वेल. सपोज द स्टेट्स इन दिल्ली, लाइक वी हैव अ गुड स्कूल, राइट. दिल्ली में स्कूलिंग काफ़ी अच्छी इंप्रूव हुई है, वहाँ के टीचर्स ने वर्क किया है ताकि बच्चे IITs और अदर एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन में या फिर एलीट कॉलेजेस में जा पाएँ. तो वैसी ही कोई प्रोग्राम को दूसरे स्टेट्स को भी रेप्लिकेट करने की ज़रूरत है, दूसरे स्कूल्स को उसी मॉडल को फॉलो करने की ज़रूरत है. Now, what is the expected outcome from this? So, Convoke is expected to become a platform in which pan India this would be going to help, और इसकी जो रेप्लिका है वो pan India होनी चाहिए. It would bring the जो गैप है उसको कम करने की कोशिश की गई है, चाहे वो एकेडमिक्स हो, पॉलिसी मेकर्स हो, प्रैक्टिशनर्स हो, एजुकेशन के फील्ड में ये चार चीज़ों की जो गैप है उसको कम किया जाए. And even it would inform the academia and other associated people to improve on the learning outcome. Learning outcome is something which should be the prime motive of the program, right? Potential research area ho, grassroots level पे काम की जाए, उनकी investigations, even the things that has to be improved would be adequately implemented, right? And it aimed to promote the suggestions जहाँ पे National Education Policy 2020 ने ये recognize किया है कि novel approach की जरूरत है in terms of teaching and improving the learning outcome for the classroom. और ये हेल्प करेगी जो रिसर्च बेस्ड पेडोलॉजी है उसको इम्प्रूव करने में, सो दैट द लर्निंग आउटकम इन द स्कूल एजुकेशन should get some benefit and it would enhance the learning experience for the students. Now, Sharyu Nehar National Project, again something important for your exam. The Prime Minister ने recently inaugurate किया Sharyu Nehar National Project को बलरामपुर in Uttar Pradesh. If in some other competitive examination they ask you location, so the exact location is Balrampur. So the work of this project started in 1978, way back in 1978, but due to lack of continuity of the budget support, it was not being completed and it got delayed. अब इसकी completion हुई है after 4 decades, that is after 40 years, 40 वर्षों के बाद इसकी पूरी तरह से development हो. Now in 2016, what has happened? The project was brought under the Pradhan Mantri Krishi UDAN with a target to complete in a time-bound manner. So if it is being asked in exam, ये किस प्रोग्राम के साथ इंटीग्रेट की गई है, तो करेक्ट आंसर वुड बी प्रधानमंत्री कृषि सिंचाई योजना. Something more about this project, if we talk about the Sharyu Nehar National Project, this was built up with a total cost of 98,000 crore rupees, or even out of which 46,000 crore rupees were last year that was provided. The amount is not important, but just to figure out क्या amount हुई आपको पता होना चाहिए. The project also include the interlinking of 5 projects. This is factually important point. The first would be Garhara, Saryu, Rapti, Bangara and Rohini. So these are the rivers that would be optimally utilizing the water resources in the region. Now benefits की अगर बात करें, how this project is going to benefit the people or the adjacent districts. So the project would assure the water for irrigation for almost 14 lakh hectare of land. It would benefit 29 lakh of farmer over 60 to 100 villages. So you can see the reachability, the benefits of this particular project, which is helping to a large masses. It would benefit 9 districts. ये list of districts हैं. You can pause this video. You can check it out. The list. The farmer of this region who were worst sufferer of inordinate delay, वो क्या करेंगे? It would be immensely benefiting from this irrigation project. Now, this will now be able to grow crop on a larger scale, maximize agri potential of this region. Vernacular Innovation Program. So, what is this Vernacular Innovation Program? ये एक ambition रखी गई है जहाँ पे empower की जाएगी innovators को, entrepreneurs को, so that they can come up in the country. और अटल Innovation Mission के through नीति आयोग ने tie up किया है first of its kind program where vernacular language would be promoted. The program would be launched as Vernacular Innovation Program. It would enable the innovators, जो entrepreneurs हैं in India में, to access the innovation ecosystem in 22 languages, which is listed in the 22nd schedule languages, right? जो schedule languages में जो already mentions हैं, 22 languages जो हैं, that is mentioned in the 8th schedule of our constitution. तो कोशिश ये की जाएगी कि उन languages को promote किया जाए. Now, important facts about the VIP, that is Vernacular Innovations Program. It aims to build necessary capacity, और यहाँ पे जो AIM है, अटल Innovation Mission, ये आइडेंटिफाई करेगी वर्नाकुलर टास्क फोर्स को, जो कि ये सारे लैंग्वेजेस को इंप्लीमेंट करेगी. 22 शेड्यूल्ड लैंग्वेजेस इज देयर एंड ईच टास्क फोर्स कंप्राइजेस ऑफ द वर्नाकुलर लैंग्वेज टीचर्स, जहाँ पे सब्जेक्ट एक्सपर्ट्स होंगे, टेक्निकल राइटर्स होंगे, लीडरशिप होगी रीजनल इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स के लिए। Now to get the program, जो AIM और नीति आयोग ने दोनों कोलैबोरेट किया है, दिस इज टू सेपरेट एंटिटी लॉन्चिंग द ट्रेंड जो प्रोग्राम्स होंगे, कोलैबोरेशंस होंगी डिज़ाइन डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ IIT और VTI के साथ भी टेक्नोलॉजी एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में डेवलपमेंट के लिए काम की गई है। एंड दिस सब्जेक्ट इज इन 22 लैंग्वेजेस एंड कल्चर्स। सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है इस तरह की स्कीम की? द वर्नाकुलर इनोवेशन प्रोग्राम दैट विल स्ट्रेंथन एंड डिजाइन द इनोवेशन कैपेबिलिटीज, चाहे वो कम्युनिटीज लेवल पे हो, असिस्टेंस हो लोअर एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए, आर्टिशियंस के बेनिफिट्स करने के लिए जो इनोवेटर्स हैं उनको एक नॉलेज के साथ साथ टेक्निकल मटेरियल की प्रोवाइड करने की जो काम है वो AIM करेगी, राइट। द प्रोग्राम विल बी अ स्टेपिंग स्टोन, जहाँ पे जो इंडियन इनोवेशन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इकोसिस्टम है उसके लिए एक जर्नी होगी, एक स्टार्ट होगी, वेयर दे वुड बी सीमेंटिंग द cognitions and design thinking attitude of young aspiring mind. So this program is something which would definitely promote Indian language to the larger extent, चाहे वो entrepreneurials के थ्रू हो, चाहे ये national level पे हो या फिर international level पे। It will help the overcoming barrier of the language and empower the innovator to the farthest of our country. Now, some important news from General Studies Paper 3 sections, because we have segregated the news accordingly. कुछ ऐसे न्यूज़ जो आपके GS के पेपर 3 में इंपॉर्टेंट होंगे। The first is National Strategy on Blockchain. So celebrating the Azadi ka digital mahotsav, the Minister of State and Electronic Information Technology Skill Development, they have released a national strategy for blockchain, जो कि the launch of Rudra, the first indigenous server was launched. What is the aim? This aims to provide security and privacy, which would allow the trusted entities with privileges to record access to the detail of accountable manner, right? Now, इस strategy में क्या कोशिश की गई है? जो national strategy of blockchain है, that would be formulated by the Ministry of Electronic and Technology, Government of India, और एम ये रखी गई है दैट क्रिएटिंग अ ट्रस्टेड डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म, जहाँ पे शेयर की जाएगी ब्लॉकचेन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के साथ डेटा, प्रमोटिंग रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट, इनोवेशंस, टेक्नोलॉजी एंड एप्लीकेशन डेवलपमेंट, फैसिलिटेट करेगी स्टेट ऑफ आर्ट, ट्रांसपेरेंट, सिक्योर, ट्रस्टेड डिलीवरी सिस्टम टू सिटीजन, चाहे वो बिजनेसमैन हो या फिर इंडिया के कोई भी ग्लोबल लीडर्स हो, ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर उनकी एम्बिट में लाया जाएगा, सो दैट the optimization, the benefit, the security and privacy, these all things are promoted to a larger extent. Now, project RE-HAB, this is a project we have discussed in our daily news analysis also. We'll discuss some important aspects of this particular project. So, Khadi Village Industries Commission, KVIC कहते हैं जिसको, it has introduced the RE-HAB program, that is reducing elephant human attack using the bees in Assam. So, factually, this would be important for your prelims examination. It has been successful in Karnataka. This practice which was already done in Karnataka. तो प्रोजेक्ट रिहैब की बात करें, इट वॉज लॉन्च्ड इन द विलेज मोरोनी इन गोलपारा डिस्ट्रिक्ट इन आसाम, और यहाँ पे सीवियरली जो ह्यूमन एनिमल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है उसको रिड्यूस करने के इस तरह के मेजर्स लिए गए। द प्रोजेक्ट हैज़ बीन इम्प्लीमेंटेड इन आसाम विद द सपोर्ट ऑफ लोकल फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट। क्या है इस प्रोजेक्ट में, हाउ दिस इज गोइंग टू बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड? सो दिस इज अ सब मिशन ऑफ KIVC, दैट इज नेशनल हनी मिशन के अंदर है, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट फॉर द एग्जाम। एंड अंडर दिस RE-HAB प्रोग्राम जो बी फेंसेस है वो क्रिएट की जाएंगी, या फिर सेटिंग अप ऑफ बी बॉक्सेस वुड बी देयर इन द पैसेज वेयर एलिफेंट टू ब्लॉक देयर एंट्रेंस इनटू द ह्यूमन टेरिटरी। तो एक ब्लॉकेज बनाई जाएगी, वहाँ पे बीज को रखी जाएगी, अगर एनिमल्स एलिफेंट्स आते हैं तो उनके लिए बैरियर क्रिएट करेगी ताकि वो ह्यूमन जोन में ना आ पाए, राइट। सो दिस इज टू ऑल्सो इंश्योर दैट these animals should live up in their boundaries area, right? And it is a cost effective way reducing the human and wildlife conflict without causing any harm to the animal, right? Ethically, it is a good practice. Collectively, अगर बात करें, this is a collective buzz in the bees annoying elephant that force them to return. And the bees box is distributed by the KVIC is a farmer which will aid their income by keeping the beekeeping. तो वहाँ पे honey और ये सारी productions भी बढ़ाई जा सकती हैं। Science, Technology and Innovation Hub, that is STI hubs. So 7 science, technology, innovation hubs बनाए गए हैं, which would be established, not established, for the last 2 years in different region of the country. तो यहाँ पे SIT hub की क्या क्या खासियत होगी? What are the features? The first is that This would be established by the Department of Science and Technology, and it is expected to develop and nurture to ensure जो delivery है appropriate level पे हो, relevant advanced technology use की जाए so that it is inclusive to the society, and even it could create a sustainable development for all SC and ST population in tune with the growing aspirations. So that people are actually not aware how they can innovate themselves, how are the technology that can improve their lifestyle, the quality of life they can get. So this is only possible once they have interaction with this kind of technology level, right? So training and skill development program under the SIT hub would be developed. Science and technology innovation centers बनाए जाएंगे जहाँ पे masses जो होगी ST populations की उनको benefit करने के लिए. The SIT hub also improved the indigenous knowledge system, and inputs would be given to STC converting the appropriate technology, creating better livelihood options. If you talk about precise objective of this hubs, the threefold objective है इस particular project के. First is to address the weakest linkages in the predominant livelihood, जहाँ पे science and technology interventions पे काम की जाएंगी, creations of social enterprises based strength to the livelihood system, and the other is to improve indigenous knowledge system, जिसको IKS भी कहते हैं short में. This would benefit science and technology for strengthening the livelihood. So if it is being asked in mains paper, what is the core objective of this? So this is how you can write, right? Some short liner news, which is again relevant for the prelims. So first is जेंडर इंक्लूजन फंड. ये एक नेशनल पॉलिसी अभी जो गवर्नमेंट लेकर गई है, नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, वो प्रोवाइड करती है सेटिंग अप ऑफ जेंडर इंक्लूसिव फंड टू बिल्ड नेशनल कैपेसिटी, और प्रोवाइड करेगी इक्विटेबल क्वांटिटी एजुकेशन बोथ फॉर ऑल गर्ल्स एज वेल एज ट्रांसजेंडर स्टूडेंट्स के लिए. सो दिस इज फैक्चुअली इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट फॉर द प्रीलिम्स. Apart from this, the above objective of the NEP is for equitable quality education for girls and transgender. So this is dedicated to both girls and transgender children, which will meet the specific provision of Shamagra Shiksha 2.0. This is a government scheme which aims for education for all, और ये dedicate करेगी जितनी भी resources हैं इनके अंदर आती है, that would be also optimally utilized for the girls and transgenders. Now Panex 21 रशिया के साथ ह्यूमन असिस्टेंस के लिए कोलैबोरेशंस की गई है फॉर द डिजास्टर रिलीफ एक्सरसाइज, एंड द मेंबर नेशन ऑफ द बिम्स्टेक कंट्री was recently had at Kothari Auditorium in DRDO Bhavan. So if it is being asked in examination, precisely not important for that UPSC, but even for many other competitive examination, they can ask. India Voter Impact Summit, 6th edition of the summit. This number is important. You need to remember the summit name. So this was concluded in Delhi, and theme of this summit was river resources allocation, planning and management at regional level. The session was conducted in a hybrid mode, जहाँ पे National Mission for Clean Ganga, न्यू दिल्ली में, Center for गंगा रिवर बेसिन मैनेजमेंट स्टडीज जो कि कानपुर में है, इनके साथ कोलैबोरेट करके हाइब्रिड मॉडल पे काम की जा रही है. स्माइल, व्हाट इज दिस? स्माइल स्टैंड फॉर सपोर्ट फॉर मार्जिनलाइज्ड इंडिविजुअल फॉर लाइवलीहुड एंड एंटरप्राइज, which include the sub scheme, that is the center sector scheme for comprehensive rehabilitations for person engaged in a begging, right? तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस की स्कीम है. आपसे कुछ स्कीम्स के बारे में या कौन सी मिनिस्ट्रीज हैं, दिस इज समथिंग विच यू important for you. Now the other scheme is Kapila. What is Kapila? Kapila stands for CLAM Program for Intellectual Property Literacy and Awareness Campaign. So this particular scheme, which was launched by the Government of India on 15th of October 2022, it aims to increase the awareness with regards to the protection and exploitation of intellectual property right, and it will also serve to provide the funding support in order to promote the filing of intellectual property rights in higher educational institutions. So this is something that will help to people to get awareness about the intellectual property right, the benefits that they can avail in terms of personal level and even for the higher educational institutions. Now the other is news is मिशन पर्ल है. DRDO ने रिसेंटली जो मेडन फ्लाइट टेस्ट है वो कंडक्ट की है. इंडिजिनसली डेवलप्ड सरफेस टू सरफेस मिसाइल पर्ल है. दिस वाज कंडक्टेड फ्रॉम डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम आइसलैंड ऑफ कोस्ट फ्रॉम ओडिशा. So these are some of the important news that were for this month of December. And we have a lot more other initiatives for you, like daily news, editorial analysis, FCA, PIB, MPR, Gist of YOJNA and Kurukshetra. All these are available on the playlist of our YouTube. Do check it out. This journey and this particular courses would definitely help you to sail through the journey of civil services, right? If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.